Before money existed, trade was simple but inefficient. People exchanged goods directly, grain for cloth, cattle for tools, salt for labor. This system was known as barter. But barter had a serious weakness. It required what economists later called a double coincidence of wants. If you had wheat and wanted shoes, the shoemaker had to want wheat at the same time. If that condition failed, trade failed. As societies grew larger and more complex, this system began to collapse. Human civilization needed something better, something portable, something valuable, something trusted. But not everything can become money. For something to function as money, it must be durable, divisible, portable, scarce, and widely accepted. Food spoils, animals die, wood rots, stone is heavy and impractical. Early societies experimented with shells, beads, salt, and stones. Some worked temporarily, but none were ideal. Then humans discovered metal. Metal was different. It did not rot or spoil. It could be melted, reshaped, and divided without losing value. Copper, bronze, silver, and gold quickly stood out. Mining and refining metal required effort. That effort created natural scarcity. Shiny, durable objects also appealed to human psychology. They felt valuable even before anyone explained why. Slowly, metal stopped being just a tool. It became a store of value. At first, metal was not money in the modern sense. There were no coins. People traded metal by weight. Silver rings, copper bars, and gold dust were measured on scales. Every transaction required weighing and checking purity. This system worked, but it was slow. Fraud was common. Impure metals circulated widely. Society needed a faster, standardized. Around 600 BCE, a decisive breakthrough occurred in Lydia. For the first time in history, metal was stamped by an authority. That stamp guaranteed weight, purity, and authenticity. No weighing, no testing, no disputes. Trust no longer depended on individuals. It shifted to the issuing authority. The coin was born, trade accelerated, markets expanded, economic activity scaled beyond local exchange. But not all metals survived as money. Iron rusted. Copper was too abundant. Gold and silver dominated because they were rare, recognizable, durable, and difficult to counterfeit. Gold, especially, stood above all. It did not corrode. Its supply grew slowly. It preserved value across generations. For thousands of years, gold and silver defined wealth. Entire civilizations were built on metal money: the Roman denarius, the Greek drachma, the Islamic dinar, the Chinese silver ingot. Soldiers were paid in metal. Taxes were collected in metal. International trade depended on metal. Metal money allowed empires to store wealth, fund wars, and control economies. But power introduced temptation. Rulers discovered a dangerous shortcut. They began debasing coins. Gold or silver content was reduced, while the face value remained unchanged. More money was created without mining more metal. Short-term relief followed. Long-term inflation was inevitable. Trust eroded. Prices rose. Currencies collapsed. This pattern repeated again and again throughout history. Metal money enforced discipline. Human behavior constantly tested its limits. Transporting metal was risky and expensive. Large payments required guards, caravans, and protection. Goldsmiths began storing metal and issuing paper receipts in return. These receipts were lighter, safer, and easier to transfer than gold itself. Over time, people traded the receipts instead of redeeming them. Paper became money because it represented metal. Eventually, more paper claims were issued than metal held in storage. Banks realized that not everyone would demand gold at the same time. This system became known as fractional reserve banking. It functioned as long as confidence survived. When confidence collapsed, bank runs followed. The weakness was always the same. In the 20th century, governments faced costs unlike anything before: world wars, welfare states, expanding bureaucracies. Metal-backed money imposed limits they were no longer willing to accept. One by one, countries abandoned gold and silver. In 1971, the final link was broken. Money became fiat, backed by nothing except government decree. Metal was removed from money, but not from human memory. Even today, central banks continue to hold gold. During times of crisis, investors still flee toward precious metals. Gold carries no counterparty risk. It cannot be printed. It cannot default. For over 5,000 years, metal has survived every political system, every empire, and every currency collapse. Paper comes and goes, metal remains. Metal money worked not only because of economics, but because of psychology. It forced discipline, it limited power, it punished excess. When money required real effort to produce, societies behaved differently. Scarcity created stability. Abundance demanded restraint. Removing metal removed those limits. Today, money is digital. Numbers on screens, entries in databases. The evolution continues, yet the fundamental question remains unchanged. What gives money value? History provides a clear answer. Money works when people trust it, and trust is strongest when money is hard to create. That is why metal became money, and why its story is not over.